Good morning. I'm Sarah Duran, the traffic anchor here at KENS 5. Today is January 27, just after 9 o'clock. For the last 30 minutes, we have been tracking a major accident over on the city's southwest side involving a school bus. We have recently learned this is a school bus from Southwest ISD. This is a troubling situation, something we have been monitoring very closely due to the images that we are seeing come out of this situation. So if you have a child in Southwest ISD, you're going to want to listen up to this. What we just transitioned to is a live picture from our partners over at TransGuide, as well as my map to give you some context of where this situation is currently developing. So if you're taking a look at my map, you can see on the city's southwest side, we do have a color of red and orange in that area of 410 at Ray Ellison Boulevard. So the accident itself is going to be along Loop 410 southbound between Old Pearsall Road and Quintana Road. So this is in the southbound direction as you're approaching I-35. It looks like we have some potentially distracted drivers in the opposite direction. People want to see the commotion. Don't forget, folks, this is considered distracted driving. We don't want to make a bad situation worse, so pay attention to the roads. But as for the accident itself, I believe this has been working for about 30 to 45 minutes now, and since then we've been collecting new details. I want to take it over to our TransGuide camera so we can show our viewers here on social media what we're seeing from our cameras. So we have asked TransGuide to push closer into the scene, but they tell us because this involves students, they will not push into it any further. So this is what the backup looks like for drivers if you're heading in this direction. Even though it wasn't reflected on our map, we are getting word from TxDOT that this highway, this part of the highway, I should say, is currently closed off. You will be forced onto the access road. SAPD, I believe, or perhaps BCSO, depending on the area that this accident scene is located at, has it blocked off for this crash investigation. I'm going to keep looking through my notes here. I don't believe we know how exactly this crash happened. What we do know at this time is that it involves a school bus from Southwest ISD. I believe high school students were on board. And the last updates we received from both the school district and SAFD that there was quite a bit of students on board from Southwest Legacy High School. About 33 were on the bus when it flipped over on its side within the last hour. So we are told that some students were hurt. Initially, they were reporting that the students were okay, maybe some minor injuries, being treated at the scene for those bumps and bruises. But we just learned that 3 students have been transported to the hospital as a result of this crash. Their injuries are unknown, but it appears that they had injuries significant enough that it required medical attention. We have also learned the driver of that school bus has been taken to the hospital. His injuries are unknown at this time, but we are told from SAFD his injuries were urgent. And right now I'm going to bring in our desk editor, James Alaya. He has been working on this for quite some time now. And James, can you come closer to me? I just want to make sure our viewers can hear you.
Sure.
Yeah, come closer to me.
How much closer would you like?
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, can you stand up to me?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, you're not on camera right now, but what you're hearing is the voice of James, and you have been talking to different sources throughout the morning, James, and can you tell me who you have spoken to?
Hey, 1 second, Sarah, on the phone I have Joanne Arrington with SAFD to give you an update.
Hi, Joe Arrington. This is Sarah Duran over at KENS. It's good. Good to speak with you right now. I know you've been sending us updates, but can you recap some of the information that you've shared with us?
Yeah, so this morning we responded for a report of a school bus that had overturned with approximately 30 teenage students on board. When we arrived, everyone was out of the bus except for the driver. Our crews quickly extricated the driver. The driver was transported priority 1, so urgent, for evaluation at the hospital. All students were evaluated. As of right now, only 3 students have required transport, and those are all for very minor injuries, just for evaluation. Multiple other students were complaining of bumps and bruises, but those students are being evaluated and coordinated with parents and the school as well, but none of them have required transport as of now.
Okay. As for the students, I'm not familiar with the type of work y'all do when y'all head out to scenes like this, but when do y'all determine whether or not a student goes to the hospital or not?
They're all going to be evaluated by our medics that are on scene there, and then if the injuries are determined that they need to be evaluated at a hospital, we'll make that transport. Like I said, the 3 that were transported, the students were all priority 2, which is not life-threatening for us. That means they just need to be evaluated. So what we'll do is we'll put into place a rapid triage where we'll evaluate every individual that's involved in an accident like this, and those that have more serious injuries that need to be evaluated will be transported. And in this case, like I said, the driver was urgent, more of a medical issue than trauma related, and then the 3 students were evaluated and decided they need to go priority 2.
Okay. Are you able to share more details about the bus driver? You said a medical issue. Can you share specifics?
I actually don't have that, and I really couldn't share, but I don't have the specifics on it. It just said that was being transported priority 1 for medical issues.
Okay. When San Antonio Fire got there at the scene, was everybody that was inside of the bus when it was traveling down 410, were they still inside of the bus, or were any students or the driver ejected?
All of the 30 students were out of the bus and standing outside around it. The only person that was still in the bus was the driver, and we were able to remove the driver safely.
Okay, so the students were able to walk on their own power outside of the bus after it crashed, just the driver?
Right. Okay. And like I said, the students that were transported were all for kind of bumps and bruises and scrapes, nothing life-threatening.
Okay, that's good to hear. I know this can be a scary situation for a lot of parents who, put their trust in the school district to transport their students. And they do a great job every day. Accidents happen, unfortunately. But as for the driver, can you walk me through the process of what it takes to remove somebody from a school bus that's flipped over on its side?
Well, so it could be different kind of complications. Obviously, buses are just by size and nature. The extrication process can be delayed. But fortunately, in this event, we were able just to remove a window and cut the seatbelt and remove the driver pretty quickly. These incidents can be, they can take a long time depending on how damaged the vehicle is and in what position it was in. But fortunately, in this case, our crews were able to remove the window and safely remove the driver from the bus.
Okay. And how long do you guys plan to be out there? This looks like a pretty serious crash, and it could require some cleanup.
Yeah, there was a minor diesel leak, obviously, when the bus turned over, but that was stopped quickly, so that was very fortunate there. We're working with PD. Obviously, we don't have control of closing the roads down. That's going to be an SAPD thing, but making sure that all the students are evaluated and then released either to their parents or back to the school on other buses. So once that all gets taken care of, it will be a traffic issue, obviously, with SAPD getting the bus uprighted and removed. So it'll be quite a while. Okay, so SAPD handles how we remove this school bus from the scene. I see that it's on its side. I'm looking at a picture of it. The glass is shattered. The front part of it is completely torn off. They coordinate with the tow truck company to get it removed. Correct. Once patient care is done, our job is done. Once we have evaluated all the patients and stopped the fuel leak, our job is the fire department and EMS is done, and then we'll hand it over to SAPD to coordinate with the wreckers to get it removed. Okay. I don't know if this is a question for you or the school district, but I understand based off what you're telling me, the students are still there at the scene being evaluated for their bumps and bruises, but do y'all assist with reunification, helping them get connected to their parents? If a parent is just learning about this, should they go to the scene, or what's the safest option for parents? The safest option definitely would be coordinate with the school district. Going to the scene is just going to cause more of a traffic issue and make an already chaotic scene even more so. But yeah, we will work with the school district to make sure the students get out of the cold and onto other buses that are there, and then to reunification with their families or the school. So school district officials are there as well. And so all of that has already taken place. Okay. Thank you, Joe, for this information. I think I have one last question. Are you at the scene now, or have you been at the scene this morning? No, I have not, actually. I have not made it out there. Traffic is usually an SAPD function, so I've just been monitoring it and on phone calls and getting updates on patient conditions and transports and all of that good stuff. Okay. And then as far as, I guess, any details on how this crash happened, do you have any idea? That I don't. That'll be an SAPD thing. An SAPD question. Okay. All right, Joe, I know you're very busy. I really appreciate your help this morning in helping our viewers understand the severity of this situation. I'm glad to hear that a lot of the students are okay, and of course our thoughts and prayers are with those 3 students and that school bus driver. Absolutely.
Okay, thank you so much. Everybody, once again, that was Joe Arrington with the San Antonio Fire Department. He's a critical asset to us understanding situations that are severe like this. So right before we got on the phone with Joe, I was introducing you to James. He is our news editor here at KENS 5. And basically his day-to-day is to make the phone calls on any story, but in situations like this is where he really thrives. And you've spoken to a lot of sources this morning, a lot of people. What are you hearing on your side?
It started with a phone call from a parent. This parent said, hey, do you guys know my son, he's in the bus behind the bus that just crashed.
Oh, wow.
He was like, Mom, there's a school bus crash, there's a bus rolled over. At that point, I, immediately went to our traffic cameras and I was able to see a little bit from TxDOT what we, some of the backup. Immediately reached out to Southwest ISD, and that's when we had heard, yes, there has been an accident. Yes, some of the students are there. And so take a look, there's the crash there.
Wow.
We got in from some viewers.
Okay. Wow, that is a serious crash that we're seeing on the TV now, and it appears the school bus, it's on its side. The front of the bus, ripped off. The glass, look at that, James, it's completely shattered. I don't know if you heard Joe, he said that they did have to extract the school bus driver, and it looks like they were able to by accessing or breaking that glass there, smashing it through and getting that bus driver out. So just scary, but also miraculous, that most of the students are okay. The 3 that have been sent to the hospital, we're just told that, they've got a few more bumps and bruises that they need to be checked out, but those images, that image is just, I'm at a loss for words.
Yeah, it's a little scary. So the first thing we did ask that parent was, hey, is your student okay? Is your son okay? And she was like, yes, he was in the bus behind. So that's the point where we're starting to call. We called the school district, we called the fire department. Everybody responded quickly. At first they were saying it's 20 students, then it got up to 33.
Wow.
And so thankfully everybody's been evaluated. Everybody's been gotten the medical attention so far. So that's
Okay.
where we're at.
That's where we're at. Okay, if you're just joining us here, folks, again, I want to let you know where this is happening and what we're talking about. This is going to be in the area of Loop 410 between Old Pearsall Road and Freeport Road in the southbound direction. We have a reported school bus crash with several injuries. We have learned from SAFD that the school bus driver has been taken to the hospital as a priority 1. And James, as you know, this means life-threatening injuries, very serious. It needs urgent care. And then the students have been taken to the hospital. 3 of them have been taken to the hospital as priority 2. Less severity with their conditions, but more or less could be bumps or bruises. We won't know until we get that information.
And we're gonna be back and forth with the school district until this thing's cleared. So stick with us. We'll have the latest from them. I'm directly emailing with one of the PIOs, so that any questions that we have, they're quick to respond. But when we have crews en route as well. So.
Yes, a good point. We have multiple crews. We also have several of our KENS 5 team working on this. And we have the news desk, we have some of our anchors on it. Of course, like we've mentioned, our reporters and photographers at the scene. We're looking at our map data to see how it's impacting you if you're heading in this direction. If this is part of your commute, just avoid it altogether, folks. This is going to be shut down for quite some time. They're going to have to use a serious type of tow truck or a King Kong to get this school bus out of there. So just expect delays. But like I was mentioning, a lot of our team members are on it. Audrey is joining me now, our morning anchor. And Audrey, have you been able to learn anything about this?
No, just like James, we're working to make more contact with the school district and talk about, but really good news that just some minor injuries as of now that we've been told for those students. It's really scary because, a lot of kids were out of school yesterday because of the icy conditions that were on the road. To avoid, any major accidents like this. Now they're all headed back to school, and something like this happens. I'm sure they're in the process of contacting parents
Yes.
of all the kids that were on that school route, making sure everyone's okay, and getting that reunification location set up so that parents can get to their kids as quickly as possible.
Yeah, so Audrey, I've been telling our viewers who are joining us here on social media that 410 at Ray Ellison, this TransGuide camera shows the backup behind this accident scene. We've asked TransGuide to push in a little bit further, but due to the circumstances and this crash involving students, they have told us they do not wish to push in any further. So this is what the backup looks like. It's actually improved. It looks like people are getting the word out that this area is shut down, and they will only be able to go as far as to where the crash scene is at, and then they'll have to exit the access road. So that's that image. And then the second one, obviously, I mean, at a loss for words. I mean, you're a parent. Something like this could be terrifying for any parent who has a child who is on a bus like that.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you know, the words goes through your heart and mind, and our prayers go out to all of those kids, because as you know, school buses, it's a big piece of machinery, a big type of vehicle. We're waiting to learn more about how exactly this happened.
Yeah.
And hopefully we can get that from officials, because like you said, we do have Simone Simpson, who is headed to the scene right now, trying to get more information. But I think just good news that right now everyone is said to be okay, just minor injuries. And like we said, just trying to get to the word out on what Southwest ISD is doing as far as reunification, where those parents need to meet their students, and things like that. So of course we're continuing to push on that to get you guys more information. But like you said, it is starting to back up in that area. We're in the middle of rush hour. People are trying to make it back to work. A lot of people had late starts to work and school today.
Yeah, right. And this is over by one of our military bases. I believe that's Lackland. Again, over on the city's southwest side. And to one of the points you made, Audrey, this is just very terrifying, this image of this school bus. And as we all know, a lot of school buses don't have seat belts. So this is worst case scenario. We never want to see a school bus in a crash regardless, but on its side. But luckily, Joe Arrington with the San Antonio Fire Department told me that all the students were able to exit the bus on their own. They only had to go back in for the driver, who was still strapped in. And that is why we are seeing that glass. It shattered because firefighters actually had to go in and extract him from that school bus and then rush him to the hospital. And at this point, he's the only one that's seriously injured, as we know.
And, our thoughts and prayers go out to him.
Yeah.
We hope he's doing okay. That is really good news that those high school children were able to walk off of that bus and get out to safety. But just a really alarming visual here, something you don't want to see as, students head back to school. It's Tuesday, but this is their Monday after this winter storm. This is what everyone was trying to avoid, is any sort of accidents. That's why school was called off for a lot of these school districts. And then this morning we have this. Do we have any details as of yet as to why they think this accident happened?
No, so we asked SAFD. I don't know if we've heard from SAPD quite yet, but SAFD tells us that they're unsure of the circumstances leading to this crash. James Elia, our desk editor, basically told us that a viewer came in, called us in, and was able to provide some details. But Audrey, we're going to bring in Danny Martinez now. He is also one of our news editors here at KENS 5. Danny, what are you hearing?
We're hearing, and we have some confirmation that 3 of the children that were involved in the school bus rollover have been transported to University Hospital.
Okay.
We don't know the conditions of the children, but they are being evaluated. Of course, per Mr. Joe Arrington, the San Antonio Fire Department spokesperson, he did confirm to us that the children that were transported were considered minor injuries.
Yes.
Minor injuries of the 3 of the children. One was adult. That person, the driver, was priority 1, meaning a very serious to critical condition.
Yeah,
and
possibly life-threatening.
Yes. But right now, University Hospital has confirmed to KENS 5 that 3 of the patients that were taken, their children, are minor injuries, but they're being evaluated. and that's all that they can share at the moment.
Any word on the driver? Do we know where he or she was taken to? I don't know if we've confirmed their gender.
We've made various calls to multiple hospitals in San Antonio, including BAMC, which is a trauma hospital in San Antonio, as is University Hospital.
Yeah.
I've not been able to get through with BAMC, with Mr. Bob Whetstone, who's a spokesperson.
Okay.
But since usually with any accident, any critical situation, since UH is our county hospital, that's where they divert to, correct? Unless it's like a burn or something. So we're assuming that that driver may have ended up at University Hospital as well as those 3 children, which Danny confirmed with SAFD that were transported to University Hospital. They have minor injuries, and that adult who was the driver of that bus, serious to critical injuries right now.
That is correct. That is correct. We did get confirmation from University Hospital spokesperson that the 3 of the children were taken there. Joe Arrington from Fire just shared that multiple people were transported. 1 adult, 3 children were transported to area hospitals, but we've got to confirm that it's University, where we know for sure that the 3 children are located.
Gotcha.
Okay. And
Andre got some stuff.
Yeah, right now our desk, James Ayala just got to us. He has a Facebook post put out by Southwest ISD, and here's what it reads. We're aware of the bus accident involving 33 Southwest Legacy High School students that occurred earlier today. At this time, no reports of serious injuries to any student. Like we just heard, SAFD just did tell us that they are minor injuries. EMS and district nurses are on site and are currently evaluating all students as a precaution. The bus driver has been transported. They're thankful that none of the students are seriously injured, and they are praying for their bus driver's recovery. The safety and well-being, they say, of students remains their top priority. Parents of any student needing additional medical attention will be contacted directly. And also, Southwest ISD says they appreciate their patience as they continue to investigate and work closely with emergency responders on the scene. So a lot of people on their social media pages just sending out prayers and well wishes to all of those Legacy High School students, as well as that bus driver who right now is said to be in serious to critical injuries. So as well as us here at KENS 5, we're hoping everyone walks away from this okay. We're extending our prayers to that bus driver, serious to critical injuries, and all of those children involved, including the 3 that were transferred to University Health.
Yeah, very scary situation, and it's nice to see that the school district is on top of it. Transparency, as you know, Audrey, is very important, not only in our line of work, but theirs as well. They are, in charge of these students as soon as they enter their care, and so to see something like this happen and not be able to hear from them as quickly as possible is concerning, I imagine, as a parent. But Southwest ISD on top of it this morning. If you are a Facebook user, they just posted what Audrey read onto their social media page, just kind of catching parents up to speed on what has happened from their perspective. They didn't mention, I think, anything about a reunification site, but I was told early on that they were in contacts with parents, trying to get parents some information about how they can retrieve their child. But as we heard from the PIO over at San Antonio Fire, he is encouraging parents, just coordinate with the district. Do not come to the scene to retrieve your child unless you have been instructed to do so by a school official. So again, if you're just joining us here on KENS 5, this is going to be in the area of Loop 410 on the city's southwest side.
And right now, I want to bring in Jenny Suniga. She is the PIO for Southwest ISD. And Jenny, talk to us a little bit about what you are learning right now.
Well, the situation is still very fluid. We're still getting information. What we do know is that one of our buses flipped over on Old Parasol Road and 410. We're not really sure why. We don't really want to speculate. We did have 33 high school students from Southwest Legacy on the bus. And this is just newer information that's coming in. We did have 5 students that had non-life-threatening injuries, and they were taken to the hospital along with the bus driver. I've also just learned that the bus driver does not have any life-threatening injuries, but she's also at the hospital. The rest of the students were picked up by their parents. We have about 5 students that are waiting to be picked up. If we can't get a hold of their parents, we will take them to the high school.
Okay, so again, can you tell me the number of students who are waiting to be picked up there at the scene?
We have about 5 that are waiting to be picked up. If we can't get a hold of their parents, then we will take them to their high school.
And Jenny, can you tell us what neighborhood these kids were being transported from, or what bus route they were on?
I don't have that information right now. I just know that they were on their way to Legacy High School.
Okay. Well, we're glad to hear that. You know, school was out yesterday because of the cold temperatures to avoid, you know, any sort of incidents like these. You know, how are you feeling? How's the superintendent feeling? You know, anytime you see anything like this, it's hard to see and respond to.
It's very hard to see, and I'm sure you guys have pictures of there. Seeing that bus flipped over is very hard to see, and we're just thankful that there were no serious injuries. We're keeping our prayers for our bus driver. That's really hard to see, and, you know, we try and do everything to make sure that our students are safe, but, you know, accidents happen. We're just glad that we had not only EMS there quickly on scene, I have employees there that are on the scene. We've had nurses that are checking out. So we're just thankful that there are no serious injuries.
And from this position off Old Pearsall Road, how far is that from a Legacy High School? Because you said those nurses came to respond to this scene. How quickly were they able to get there before fire, or were they there as like secondary?
So we have several campuses that have nurses in the area. We have Meadow Creek Elementary, we have Scobie Middle School, and we have a couple of other elementaries farther down the road. So our nurses were able to move from their campus to go check it out. We were on 410 on Old Pearsall Road, and you'd actually have to get back on the highway to get to Legacy, which is off 35. So I don't know the exact mileage on there, but they were on their way to Legacy High School.
Okay. And question, I don't know, you may not know this answer, but that looks like a newer bus. Did that bus have seatbelts for those students? I know a lot of buses don't, and that's just usual.
I know all of our newer buses do have seatbelts, and if that was one of our newer buses, then yes, it would have had seatbelts.
And you did say that bus driver was female. We had originally heard it was a male bus driver, but you can confirm it was a female bus driver. Do you know her age?
No, I do not.
Are high school students required to wear their seatbelts, Jenny, or is it just there if they choose to wear it?
I think I'll have to double check with that. We know we have them on there. We actually asked them to wear it, but if it's required, I need to double check.
Okay. We're looking at a live picture of the scene right now from our photographer. It appears other school buses are there as well. Are those buses just responding to pick up students, or were they following? Okay, so they were there to transport students back to school.
And it's also really close to our bus depot as well.
Oh, okay.
So Jenny, for those 5 students who are being picked up from the scene, if their parents are seeing this, I'm sure you've already, point of contact has already been made, but where should they meet them?
So that's happening at the campus level and the bus depot. They're in communication with them. They have the information to either pick them up from there, or if they can't make it there, then we'll take them to the high school.
Okay, so y'all are communicating with parents either to come to the scene off Loop 410 or go to the high school?
Yes.
Okay, just to clarify that. Okay, well, this is just heartbreaking to see. Again, we're glad that, you know, most of the students are okay, and it sounds like the bus driver and those 3 students taken to the hospital. Was it 3 students or 5 students taken to the hospital?
It was 5 students.
So 5 students and 1 bus driver.
Yeah, all non-life-threatening injuries.
That's all really great information. Thank you so much, Jenny. We really appreciate you speaking with us, and our thoughts and prayers go out to, you know, those students and bus driver that was injured, and we'll check in with you a little bit later.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey guys, joining you now is going to be Rania, who just arrived on the scene.
Hi, Rania. For those just joining us here on KENS 5, our reporter Rania arrived to the scene that we have been tracking now for, say, an hour and a half in the area of Loop 410 at Old Pearsall Road. Rania is there on the ground now, and can you describe to us what you're seeing firsthand?
Hi everyone, so I'm standing about 500 yards away from the scene of the bus crash. At this point, it's a very, very active scene. There's a lot of emergency responders and personnel on the ground now trying to direct traffic and people away from this area. This isn't exactly on the highway, so the entire front of the Traders Village area is completely blocked off. I'm actually standing on the Traders Village property, which is where you can clearly see this bus crash. And there's quite a bit of traffic backed up on 410 southbound as a result of this crash.
Okay, Ronnie, can you clarify for us, because I have seen some conflicting reports, is this accident scene on the highway, on the loop, or is it on the access road?
It is on the access road from where I can see. Now, granted, I just got here maybe about 15 minutes ago, but I can see the bus only on the access road. I don't know if it started on the highway and then the bus was moved, but I believe that this is on the access road.
Okay.
And Ronnie, we see a 18-wheeler that just got there. Do they have the bus up right now? Are they trying to remove that? Or is it still on its side? We see several buses in the area.
So the bus that I can see is upright. Now, I don't actually see any buses that are on their side from where I'm standing. And I'm kind of near the Traders Village Flea Market entrance, which is the closest area that they're allowing us to be near this bus crash.
Okay.
And we did confirm there were 5 students who had minor injuries, a female bus driver who also suffered minor injuries, all transported. But they did say there were 5 other students who were either going to be picked up at the scene by their parents or taken by another bus. Have you seen any parents arrive there at the scene or any students?
So I have seen a lot of people just in this area coming towards the scene. I actually passed the Traders Village entrance, which is they've opened the property to allow people access to this area. And there have been quite a lot of buses in this area, Southwest ISD buses sort of coming through. As for parents and students, I can't confirm that at this point.
Okay, Ronnie. So I was just looking at the temperature outside. It's about 30 degrees. That's below freezing. We had concerns yesterday about ice on the roads. That's why a lot of school districts were off. When I was reporting on traffic this morning, wasn't getting any word of icy conditions out there, but as you were traveling to the scene, did you see any ice on the roads? I just want to get your take on it in case, maybe that's something we can ask later to officials, or were the roads pretty much clear? Was that ice melted away from, yesterday?
The ice was pretty melted away. I really didn't run into any issues as a result of the weather. Now, of course, again, there's a lot of traffic as a result of this accident, but nothing related to weather, no.
Okay, that's good to hear. Because that was a big story yesterday, Audrey. A lot of our school districts, 2 are still closed this morning out of those concerns. But again, on the southwest side of town, not getting any reports that weather could be a factor in this crash. But of course, we always have to hear from our officials once they do their investigation.
We do see that crane there at the scene, Ronnie. I don't know your vantage point. Are they using that crane to turn it upright, or do you know exactly, can you describe to me what you're seeing?
So at this point, I am able to see a crane, and the bus that I see nearest to the crane is already upright. I don't see any buses turned towards their side. That saying, again, there's a lot of personnel and a lot of law enforcement in front of me that are sort of blocking the view, so it's really hard to clearly see from where I'm standing here on the access road exactly what that crane is doing.
Okay, just using my best guess, it looks like the crane is behind the fire truck, and that school bus might be one of those buses that maybe came to pick up some students. This looks like a King Kong, a supersize, tow truck. They use these types of vehicles when we see a big vehicles crash. So like, for example, those 18-wheeler crashes we see, they need the heavy duty stuff in order to put these types of vehicles back on its boots. And I like to think they treat a school bus the same, because this is a massive vehicle. You can put a lot of students on it and transport them. So when you see a bus on its side like this, they certainly need something, heavy duty, very strong, to get it back on its wheels.
Yeah, so all of the buses that I see, and I counted 3 of them, are upright. I see one bus that's sort of backing towards me right now, so I believe that this bus is going to maybe be transporting students. I'm not quite sure, but I am getting a clearer vantage point since there are some things that are moving around. Again, very active scene.
And so traffic where you're at, I know you're right in front of Traders Village. Is it at a standstill? Are they getting other drivers around? I know it's a big day. A lot of other people returning to work, returning to school. Southwest Legacy High School, that is the route to get there for a lot of students. So I'm sure a lot of them are seeing, hey, that's one of my high school buses that's on its side. That's alarming. Are other people getting by, or are they going a different route?
At this point, traffic is moving. It's quite slow moving, very rolling traffic speed. And I don't know if you can hear that behind me. That's a bus full of students that's actually backing up. I guess they picked up some of those students that were maybe involved in the crash. And now the Southwest ISD bus is using the Traders Village property to get sort of out of the blocked area. But as I was mentioning, there is rolling traffic. It's not completely at a standstill. There are a lot of trucks that are sort of redirecting traffic around that particular area. It is moving, but it's just that right lane is blocked as a result of this.
Okay, and you mean the frontage road, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so traffic is able to get by on the frontage road.
Well, no, the frontage road is completely blocked.
Okay.
I'm talking on the highway.
Got
on
it.
the highway, the right lane
Thank you,
is
Rania.
completely blocked.
Thank
Hey
you,
guys,
Rania.
let me jump in. This is Jack Acosta, News Director at KENS 5 in San Antonio. I'm just off the phone with SAPD, who confirms that at 7:56 this morning they responded to a major accident call at the 410 access road. They got out there and they worked it with SAFD. And at this current time, they do have traffic flowing both directions, although it is limited in lanes. And they will have someone out at the scene to answer more questions shortly.
Okay, thank you, Jack, for that update. Rania, he said that someone is headed to the scene for you to speak to and get some more information.
So, of course, we're going to stick with this till we have that live feed from the scene. I'm sure Rania and our other teams are going to be all over that. But here's what we know so far. Like we just heard, this accident was called in around 7:56 off 410 in the access road involving a Southwest Legacy High School bus. There were 33 kids on this bus, one female bus driver, when somehow it landed on its side.
Correct. And it seems like ice wasn't an issue out there this morning. We certainly don't want to speculate how this crash happened, but it's certainly concerning to see that. They do drive top speeds out there. It's far out there on the city's southwest side. And like we've been mentioning, this is in the area of Loop 410 at Old Pearsall Road, right before Quintana Road. It looks like this area is going to be reduced down in lanes for quite some time. It's a pretty massive scene, and basically what Rania told us just now is that it's very active. We have numerous first responders. We have what appears to be a heavy-duty tow truck at the scene trying to lift this bus back on its boots. So this is something we are tracking very closely. Your safety is our biggest importance here at KENS 5. So we want to make sure we're communicating and staying transparent with you on what exactly is happening here. But for now, like you mentioned, Audrey, we have a few people at the hospital, minor injuries as reported for now.
So we have 5 students who were transported to the hospital, University Hospital, which we were told by SAFD. Southwest ISD tells us 5 students, 1 female bus driver, all said to be minor injuries. So that's good to hear. I'm sure a breath of relief for Southwest High School families and for those parents with kids on that bus. There were 33 kids. The rest, we're told, were able to walk off the bus. Either their parents were meeting them there at the scene, or other buses did arrive to transport them back to Southwest Legacy where they will be reunited with their parents. Now, something else that we were told is that nurses actually from other campuses around the area rushed to that scene to take care of those Southwest Legacy High School students. So that's really amazing that Southwest ISD has that in place where their other staff members can get there to the scene and be there for their students.
Right, they become first responders when times call for it, and this is an example of where they rushed to the scene. They assisted their students up until medics could arrive and take take it from there. So at this time, we're happy to report that most of the students are okay in this situation. The others that have been sent to the hospital, fortunately at this time, between the district and SAFD, have been reported as non-life-threatening injuries, a matter of bumps and bruises. And we're still waiting to learn a little bit more about that bus driver, but SAFD said it appeared to be a medical problem and not so much a trauma issue. But again, this is a developing situation. Information can always change, folks, and of course we'll stay on top of it.
And it looks like, I don't know if you saw on the top left of your screen, that a crane was kind of bouncing that bus. I'm assuming they have the bus right now. This picture on your bottom right corner was sent to us much earlier when that accident first happened. You just saw that fire truck roll away, so it looks like they're starting to clear this scene in hopes, I'm guessing, to get traffic running again. They do have SAPD and firefighters there at the scene. They tell us that they will be speaking to the media to give an update, because as of yet, Southwest ISD, who we spoke to just a while ago, they didn't have a cause, and so we are still waiting to learn a possible cause to this accident.
Yeah, so far we've heard from numerous people, SAFD, the school district. I don't believe we've had a chance to speak with SAPD and their traffic investigators, but I'm sure they are on the job right now. They're very busy, understandable, but it looks like we'll get some new details here shortly with our reporter Rania at the scene there. But again, if you're just tuning into this stream, we want to remind you that this is in the area of Southwest Loop 410 at Old Pearsall Road. So this is going to be the city's southwest side. Still a very active scene. At this time, no roads are closed, but they are reduced down. So you may have some trouble getting through that area. Remember to keep your eyes on the road. If you're looking at this scene from behind the wheel, that is considered distracted driving. So we certainly don't want to make a bad situation worse.
Yeah, but good news in all of this, everyone walked away with just a minor injury. So we had 5 students who suffered minor injuries, 1 bus driver, female bus driver, who suffered minor injuries. The rest of the students, which there was a total of 33 students on that Southwest Legacy High School bus on the way to school, the rest of them were able to walk away. They had nurses from other surrounding elementaries rush to the scene. Parents who did have children on that bus were able to go there to pick them up, or they were going to be transported by other bus, because they do have their bus service in that area to transport them to school. But definitely a developing situation. No cause to this accident just yet. We're told that they will be sending SAFD and SAPD to speak to some of our reporters.
Yeah, and this may be an answer that we don't receive today, folks. This is very common. Of course, SAPD wants to take their time and make sure they fully understand the scope of the situation, how this happened, whether that's speed or weather related, or perhaps whatever happened out there this morning. They want to make sure they got it right.
Yeah, but our prayers go out to all of those students and that bus driver, and we'll continue to follow this online and on air. We're going to go to break.
Yeah, you too.